To promote my new flower shop, I had one place print my business cards, another print my brochures, and a third, my signs. Now my roses aren't red, my violets aren't blue, my geraniums look dead, and I don't know what to do.
Staples can help your business stand out with signs, banners, and brochures that are a true reflection of your company. And now at Staples, spend $50 or more on print and marketing services and get $5 off your next in-store purchase.
Now my business is blossoming, and I'm spending less green.
Exclusions apply. In-store only. Ends 6/23/18.
Yo, can you hear me?
Talk Radio.
You.
Welcome to the War Room. We got Dez, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander. How you want it in a 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Roll with the topic, sorta like the rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4th of 26, so the war in Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and educated.
What's good out there, War Room family? You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Dev McMillan, and I'm in the building with my brother, B. Austin. Jimmy will join us in just a few. But look, the NBA Finals, man, take 4 of the NBA Finals haven't gone well for the Cavaliers thus far. We'll spend a bunch of time telling you why, so keep it locked right here. For in-depth coverage of this series and to get in on the conversation, you know what to do. Make sure you join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room, or you could join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly in about 5 minutes when we open up the Digital Extreme Tech Hotline. Make that 10 right after Fred Perdue comes on and does his thing in the college football segment. That number is 323-410-0012. One last thing before we get it popping, make sure that during the week when we're not live on the air, you check out archive episodes of our show at warroomsports.com, the War Room Sports mobile app on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, and anywhere else you can think of where you do your podcast listening. Yo, B, what up, dog? It's been
what's up, Guan?
What up, Guan? Yo, quick question for you, though, man, because of, the way things have been going here in America as of late. Is Kim Kardashian the new go-to person to get solutions for black problems?
Of course. Look at the way these other black men turn their back on black women and run after. Never mind. But yeah, she
got something done this week. She got a 22-year felon, nonviolent drug felon pardon by President Donald J. Trump. What are your thoughts on
that? Hey, listen, man. Salute to her for the good that did come about from that visit. But I always marvel at the fact that people still fall for the sleight of hand, right? So instead of engaging in dialogue around true, sweeping, meaningful change and impact to policy and executive decisions, right? He does something that is, it will cause a stir, and it's I'm not even sure the word I'm looking for. It brings about waves, and it's so, oh man, somebody that was, going to be down for 30 years or 50 years, he pardoned them. But what about the actual investment in the dialogue and change to the policies that put that young woman there? And when I say that, I think that going to the NFL, tying this into sports, and I think we'll talk about it a little later, Malcolm Jenkins, who I have in past, kind of slightly questioned recent as of late, not his original, stance, but he did something amazing with his media time this week, in bringing to light just that. Yeah, pointing to, the fact that we get caught up in, the flashing lights and the glitz of the 24/7 media cycle and the social media and all of that and all of the wow stuff, which it is wonderful that young woman is coming home, and they're going to attribute it to Kim Kardashian, who many of you sisters, just like brothers chase after her, you want to be her and bleach your skin in your head. But I don't want to get caught up in that. She got something done for that young woman. We're talking about that, but we're not holding the feet to the fire of the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch in making the actual changes that will bring about, true change for minorities in this country where they deal with law enforcement, legislation, and judicial branch. So that's kind of my take.
Last week a lot of the conversation was surrounding who it was going in there to do it. Look, my thing is, I don't care who it is and what color you are. If you're going to fight for prison reform, I don't really care who you are. I just hope that sister is, if that's what you're going to call her, Kanye has made her honorary, I guess, but people don't even bang with him no more. So my point, though, is, when you first heard the report, you heard this woman's name surrounding it a lot, and you just would hope, okay, whether or not she got this done, you hope that there's a broader focus, and it's just not like, okay, I went to bat for this woman, she got out, now I'm done. That's my good deed for the lifetime.
Yeah,
I hope she's really going after prison reform. And, sometimes, in the country that we live in, man, you just have to be famous, popular, to be able to move the needle on anything. Because, we know for a fact that there's been thousands of people fighting for these very same causes from day one. And it may not get sensationalized like this because
that's what the word
are somebody on social media with 6 million followers or however. I just hope that there's a broader scope to what she's doing.
There's always got to be some level of sensation behind it, and the immediate gratification that comes with sensation, right? Because it's a sense. We're oh wow, that's that isn't that great. And then just to your point, I hope it's not just a media stunt, and that the people involved are really committed to change, and only they know that, them and God. We we won't know until we watch their actions, if we care to. Which, if she is committed to that, then hey, listen, like you said, whoever's willing to fight that fine fight, hey, you gotta salute them, no matter what their background or where they're coming from or what indiscretions, their culture comes from.
Even if Ray J hit it first. All right, so let's jump into some hot topics, man, from sports. And before we do, I just want to let you guys know the hot topics. And Fred Purdue's segment is brought to you by MyBookie. What up, fam? Let's talk cash and how much of it you can make betting on sports at MyBookie. The NBA Finals and NHL Stanley Cup Finals are both on the brink of conclusion. So if you haven't checked them out yet, this is a great time to do so. Lay down some dough on the biggest games in sports. Join us and thousands of other online players placing bets at mybookie.ag, not .com, mybookie.ag. You tired of getting a runaround when it's time for a payout? That's why we urge you to join MyBookie. You win, they pay fast without any hassles. You wasting your time betting anywhere else? They even have in-game live betting so you can place wagers after tip-off, kickoff, face-off, whatever. Join now, and MyBookie will match your first deposit with a 50% bonus. Just use promo code WARROOM, all caps, WARROOM, to activate this offer. Visit mybookie.ag today. Play, win, get paid, period. All right, so on the line with us, you guys know the name. You guys know the game. We're going to talk a little bit of college football here in this college football offseason with the War Room expert, Fred Purdue. So we got Fred on the line. Fred, what's going on, good brother?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Man, we good, man.
Man, it's all
You know,
gravy, man. Zach Randolph still can't go left.
Living in this crazy world, man, where your girl Kim Kardashian is out on the front lines getting things done, man. But
that's our representation now, man. You know,
yeah, right.
That's the new norm.
Don't say that.
She saw that spot. B, she saw that spot that was left vacated by Rachel Dolezal, or whatever her name.
Rachel Dolezal.
She saw that spot. Next thing you know, Kim gonna be president of the NCAA.
She looked at the very, 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 very melanin challenged sister that just crossed the threshold of the British royalty, Meghan Markle or whatever her name is, and said, "I've had more black in me than you. I'm more black." So
yeah.
Step in and
now she don't be surprised when she's the president of the NAACP Calabasas chapter. Don't be surprised whatsoever.
True.
You're gonna be rocking in Beverly Hills. All right,
slavery is a choice.
In the world of college football, I hear that we had a quarterback drafted by an MLB team. Tell us a little bit about Mr. Murray from Oklahoma.
Kyler
What round
Murray,
did he go in?
He was a first-round pick, number 9 overall, to the Oakland Athletics. 1 year of baseball experience at the college level. The replacement to Baker Mayfield, not so okay. He was supposed to be the replacement for Johnny Manziel years ago. He couldn't cut it at Texas A&M, so he transferred after all of the terrible stuff that happened with Kevin Sumlin, and he had a ton of comments about the culture. He was the number 1 quarterback out of high school. He's not the biggest of players. He's about 5'11", 6-footish, Russell Wilson-like body stature, but you know, we don't really know what we were getting from him as far as
Russell Wilson-like game.
Not so fast. I'm not calling anybody Russell Wilson. Wilson had a record at one point for the number of incompletions thrown or completions thrown without an incompletion at one point in college. So I'm not calling anybody that good.
Okay.
Question for you, Fred, because you said that, you know, you talked about his size, you talked about the fact that he was supposed to be the heir apparent to Manziel. That didn't work out. He transferred. Would it be in this young man's best interest to pursue this path, since he did go so high in the baseball draft? I mean, we know sometimes that's kind of meaningless because there's no easy road when you're dealing with the MLB. But would it be in his best interest to pursue that path instead of the one that he seemingly has failed on a few times?
Well, I think so, because yeah, you may have a decent college career for at least 1 year, and that's what the Athletics have committed to. They said, look, we'll commit to a contract of $4.7 million. That's how we slotted out the rookie wage scale. Great. You have a
while
guaranteed
still allowing him to play at Oklahoma?
Exactly, because he hasn't played a professional game yet. So they'll allow him, like many baseball players before him, the Brandon Whedons of the world, the Chris Winkies of the world. Great, that's great. But you're one ACL tear away
Chris
from
Winkie
that
lived his
contract.
whole life before he played in the NFL.
Exactly. So you're one ACL tear away from that contract being a not so great thing. And I mean, you were good enough that they drafted you number 9, and I'm not a baseball person to the point where I'm looking down boards and looking at the best pitchers and catchers, and that's not my thing. But what I can tell you is, in any sport, if they're drafting you that high, they think very highly of you. Baseball, you don't have the rigors on your body that you would that football provides to you, even if you do play quarterback in the Big 12, where they play no defense and everyone's just throwing the ball every which way. And I don't really see his NFL prospects going very far. I mean, he's not even on my radar as an NFL prospect. So
basically what you're trying to tell us, Fred, is that Kyler Murray is going to be a baseball player. That's what you're telling me.
Yes, he can make that move out to Oakland and make it very quickly.
Right, because we've seen in the past where folks get drafted in the MLB, but they still had options. You know what I'm saying? If football was their number one love and they're good enough to do it, you know, they had that option. It kind of seems like unless he comes out and just does things this season that are unexpected of him, it seems like he's going to be hightailing it to spring training at some point.
He ain't shit. He ain't shit now.
All right, so go ahead.
No, for me, whenever you have the opportunity to play baseball, you have a guaranteed contract. Why go back to college football where you're not guaranteed a starting spot because Austin Kendall is still fighting for that job too. So you're not even guaranteed to start.
Well, Fred, in his defense, if he, you know, goes into that quarterback battle and he doesn't get the starting spot, you know, that's a perfect time to drop out of school.
This is very true.
Not that I'm telling you kids out there to drop out of school, but for him, that would be the perfect time to drop out of school and go ahead and do. This is a very true statement. Yeah, you know, I mean, if I don't win that starting spot, then, you know, I'm not really finishing this semester. Tell my teachers farewell in my basket weaving classes and, you know, go on about my business. All right, so the College Football Hall of Fame candidates for this year have been announced. Give us some of the top names in the, you know, who are candidates right now.
Some of the bigger names that I've seen, hometown guy Ray Lewis, of course, that would be a big one because simply put, if you get into the College Football Hall of Fame and the NFL Hall of Fame all in the same year, that'd be a pretty good cleanup.
That means basically he would get into the College Hall of Fame, the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and basically lose the love and the adoration of all black people all in 1 year. Man, that's a busy year.
Wow. Exactly. I mean,
that's a busy year for Ray Lewis.
And see, for so long, because he was one of my favorite players, and I mean, he's one of my high school's alumni. So I mean, I felt indebted to go to this Canton, go to see him in Canton and see him enshrined, and then all this other stuff happened, and then I was like, nah, never mind. But nonetheless, that one hurt. It hurt a little bit.
I might be able to separate it because I'm probably going to go because Brian Dawkins is going to be there as well. So it's kind of ironic because while these two guys were in the league, I can speak for myself and B. Austin. These were like our favorite two players in the league. These were the two guys. These were the two guys that we would get on air and tell the world that, man, if these cats needed you in a bar fight,
exactly.
I don't know if their level of leadership, if you could turn that down. So, you know, for me to get a chance to see both of those dudes at the same time, and it would have been both of those guys and T.O., but T.O.'s decided that he's not going to attend.
Yeah.
He's making a statement, which, hey, I feel him, but
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at you.
I might try to separate it and just root for Ray again.
My question.
I'm gonna go ahead and play. I'm gonna go ahead and play myself out on air to our War Room Sports family. I do have my kids running around the house calling Brian Dawkins and Ray Lewis their uncle.
Uncle Ray, Uncle Doc.
Now, you know how painful it was to have to explain to my kids that, hey, one of your uncles is a sellout. And
Grandpa. and Grandpa. So with Jim Brown. Uncle Ray and Grandpa tripping, man. What's up with them dudes?
I don't know.
That's a whole other topic for a whole different day.
Right. So what are some of the other names? Right.
Troy Polamalu, we all know what he did in college.
Overrated.
Hey. We not.
This is college.
This is college though. This is for his days.
Overrated there.
Ooh. All right. Patrick Willis, Joe Thomas, Rashawn Salam.
Underrated.
Carson Palmer.
Rashawn Salam.
Yes.
Let him talk, man.
Darren McFadden, who I think is probably the one guy who he got slighted. Boy, he got slighted. Marvin Harrison, Tony Gonzalez are some of the more notable names. And, of course, I can't leave out Vince Young, who completed the greatest comeback in college football history. Sorry, Deshaun Watson. What you did to Alabama was great, but that last drive against USC in the greatest game I've ever seen played on a college football field ever in my lifetime.
He's a lot. This is Vince Young's last hurrah. With anything positive.
Yeah, Vince Young. Nothing's coming from Vince Young. You'll probably never hear from him again.
But Vince can just go ahead and die after this. Like, there's nothing left of him on earth.
Damn. All right, so B, you had issue with Rashawn Salam, or you just wondering why it took so long?
No. I was just wondering, A, why it took so long, and B, I did not expect to say the name Rashawn Salam on tonight's show, but then I never expect to say the name Rashawn Salam. Ever again. Yeah. I forgot about it.
With the College Football Hall of Fame, the thing is, there's so many players, and it's across all levels of college football, not just Division I, Division II.
I got you.
Division III. So there's so many players over so many years, so many positions, and then you have coaches. I mean,
wasn't
yeah.
Isn't Steve McNair his name in there? Did you say his name?
Nah, his name isn't in there. Nah, his name.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Steve McNair. I'd have to go back and I'll get back with y'all at some point and let y'all know about that, because I'm pretty sure he's already. I saw
that. Well, but with the College Football Hall of Fame, you got to run through. You may encounter names like Gino Torretta and Danny Warfel and stuff like that. So I get it.
You mean like Eric Dickerson, who still hasn't gotten in because of the? I'm gonna leave that alone.
No, I'm Fred, I think Steve McNair's on the ballot this year. I don't know. Check on it and get back to us. I think he's on the ballot this year, though. All right, but anyway, we're going to let Steve McNair hijack our show.
No,
Rest in peace.
I mean, but there's so many names that guys, once they get to the NFL, they're big names to you. Troy Vincent, I know that name will resonate to you, but Simeon Rice, Antoine Randall, David Pollock, Jake Plummer, Ken Norton Jr., Dan Morgan. I mean,
damn, how many dudes are you going to let in? A lot of candidates.
Andrew Caffrey, Tony Mandarich. These are big names that are up for this. I mean, a lot of these names didn't work out in the NFL, but this isn't the NFL Hall of Fame either. So these guys were great college players, and they'll get in at some point. It'll probably take forever for them to get in, but you have to remember, and these guys are also being followed by guys like Johnny Manziel. At some point, he'll get in because of what he did and his impact on college football. So a lot of these guys, they're going to have to wait. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I mean, all right, and shout out to Skyview in the chat room. He said, Fred, greatest game, agreed about that Texas USC game. Yeah, that was a hell of a game. I watched that game whenever they show the classic.
That one and Alabama, Clemson 1 and 2 were my top three, and only because we saw so much NFL talent on that field for those three games that it's not even funny. And a lot of those players turned out to be really decent players once they moved on. I mean, Lindell White didn't turn out to be nothing, and Matt Leinart didn't either. But that's not the point. Vince Young had a half decent career until he went off the deep end.
Yeah, not really. I'm gonna toss one NFL topic at you real quick before we let you go. Especially being a Patriot fanatic over there, Julian Edelman. 4-game suspension.
I knew that was coming.
For, violating the NFL's substance abuse policy. Like, you got
all coming unglued.
You failed a drug test on your day off? Like, you both been
ain't got no job
ACL for the past year. Like, how you fail a drug test on your day off? What are your thoughts on that? I mean, it's the Patriots. People are going to blow it up, but in the end, it's probably not going to mean anything. They just came off a Super Bowl appearance without him. But, want to get your thoughts on that before we let you go.
I actually had this question posed, and I said, Patriots, didn't they just go from like one or two plays away from winning a Super Bowl? And
right. Weren't they just the runner-ups in the Super Bowl?
Yeah. It hurts. Don't remind me. I got to hear this until the end of next year. Whatever. But that's not the point.
Until we are eliminated from playoff contention or playoff play, you will hear it.
I hope that happens very, very soon. Anyway.
Yo, Fred. We beat the shit out your team, yo.
Hey.
But no, give us your thoughts.
Put up 500 yards on y'all. No, don't go there. But no.
They lost. I forgot. He a Bron stan too. He's
a Bron fan, so he gonna quote stats. Stats are more important than wins and losses.
Bron had a triple-double in Game 3. However. Those are the thoughts of 1B Austin.
But no, Julian Edelman, I don't think it might affect him going forward. I mean, he's not the youngest of receivers. He's not the biggest. He's made a great catch a couple years ago to help us win a Super Bowl. That's great. But we all know how the Patriot way is. You get a little long in the tooth. You start making things. You get a little out of pocket, doing things you're not supposed to do. There's a reason why they drafted Braxton Berrios out of Miami in the 6th round.
Right. And let me correct myself. He's facing a 4-game suspension.
Yes, he's facing a 4-game suspension.
Hasn't dropped as of yet, so he can still try to wiggle his way out of there. No pun intended.
Nonetheless, you still have Chris Hogan on the roster. You still have you also drafted another guy I'm just going to put it the way it is. I mean, it's typical of the New England receivers. You got a small white guy playing slot receiver.
Yeah. It's just like I said, I just wanted your thoughts. I didn't think there would be any panic in Patriot Nation. I mean, they're still looking great even without him for a second-place team, man. That's what's up. All right, so Fred, gather up some college football.
I want a rematch.
Hey, I do too. Because
as of right now, they are.
Gather up some good college football info for us, and we will rap to you next week, good brother.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right, no doubt. Fred Perdue, everybody, War Room Sports college football contributor. All right, so we got some. First of all, got to give a shout out to what's going on in the NHL right now. The Stanley Cup Final is going into a Game 5 situation with the Washington Capitals leading the series 3-1 and are on the brink. And let me tell you about an excited city, region, the DMV, all over. They're very excited. They're very on edge. This team wins. This area is going to explode. All the people that we talk to who, can't spell hockey or hockey fans all of a sudden, it'll be their first Stanley Cup win and the first championship for a Washington D.C. team in a very, very long time. So the city is ready to explode. So watch out for that Game 5 right after our program this evening. All right, let's go to the phone lines before we get into this story, the resolution to the story we talked about from Philly last week. Of course, we got the homie out in Arizona, Tobias, waiting on the line. Tobias, what's good? You're in the War Room.
Roll down Tide. Thanks for taking my call, fellas.
Roll down Tide.
Hey, first thing first, I must say the greatest college football game I ever saw was a 2009 SEC championship game where Alabama got revenge on Florida, 34-3. They made Tim Tebow cry and Urban Meyer quit. That's the best college football game I ever saw.
34-3. Hell yeah.
Hey, made Tebow cry and Urban Meyer quit talking about he had to spend time with his family. That old Pat Riley, the Stan Van Gundy excuse.
The greatest college football game I've ever seen was in 1996 when Howard University won the Heritage Bowl. Shout out to Howard.
You know what? I got to talk about the NBA for a second before I get on this football thing. It's like Ty Lue. People got to realize one thing about Ty Lue. He's a young coach finding his way. You like the Phil Jacksons of the world, the Pat Rileys, cut their teeth as coaches and other stops. Phil Jackson's even at CBA as a head man. My thing is they keep talking about, well, he should have done it, should have done that. That's nothing he could have done against this team. That's nothing. That's the part that kills me. LeBron put up all these stats. Nothing. Kevin Love has played well in this series. Actually, the last part of the conference finals, he played pretty well. Funny how he plays well when you let him play in the post and not spot up like he's Dirk Nowitzki all game. Funny how that works.
Like I had thought to myself, I thought earlier in the series, I'm like, okay, we know LeBron James is the man, but I'm like, there are a lot of possessions during a basketball game, and I think it would serve them well to sometimes run the offense through Kevin Love. Like those times when LeBron gets breathers before the half, and, lately they haven't been giving up big leads or, getting big deficits in that time period when LeBron goes out because they start to go through Love and it actually works. So it's like you can buy LeBron more minutes on the court if you would actually go through Kevin Love sometimes and have that trust in some kind of a system, but they don't seem to run much of a system. A lot of ISO ball and, just a lot of driving kick at the end of the
what happens.
That's
what happens when you have a LeBron disciple as the head coach. Is an extension of LeBron. Ty Lue, I think one day he will be an okay NBA coach. He's not bad, but I think he acquiesces to other people's will a little bit too much in his strategy and tactics. And so it shows. I mean, from a talent standpoint, the disparity.
Has LeBron ever had a coach that didn't? That he didn't
Paul
get
Silas.
dismissed, pretty much. That he didn't get. You didn't let me finish my question. That he did not get dismissed. Paul Silas was out of there. We know the inside story. A lot of people might not, but Paul Silas was out of there because it just wasn't going to work with his style of disciplinarian with LeBron James. You have a transcendent talent, and he knows his power. He's going to exert his will over the franchise. And LeBron has done that. Like, Ty Lue was kind of handpicked by him. I don't like this David Black guy. Why don't y'all let Ty Lue coach the team? But in these situations, like Tobias said, when things go wrong, like LeBron is always going to have his numbers. So when things go wrong, it's on you, Ty. It's on the other guys that are out there. So you got to be ready for that kind of pressure. And I don't think his teammates nor his coach are ready for that kind of pressure.
You know what I say about that, though? And we always talk about running to Kevin Love. Here's the other thing. It builds confidence in those other guys. So, hey, if we mess up, Ty Lue ain't going to change the whole rotation, and I won't see the 4 for 5 games. Or, hey, cause sometimes when you're doing something like that, you're going to have to take your lumps, your growing pains. You look at how, like, Jordan Clarkson is a gunner, but he still should be a good 6 man off the bench.
When LeBron is on your team 15 years in, there is no room or time for growing pains. You hear me talk about the LeBron legacy schedule every time they bring up LeBron could possibly go to the Sixers. They have the talent, but I don't think, like, they are young guys and they might be too fragile to be on the LeBron legacy schedule. LeBron is on your team. The thought is championship right now because LeBron, like he told you himself, he's chasing ghosts. He don't have time for your rebuild. He don't have time for your young guys to get solid mind states and all that kind of stuff. LeBron gets on your team. We're going, it's for one reason. So it's like
no learning
people
curve.
say, "Oh,
no
man,
room for
how would you
mistake.
not want that on your team?" it could damage these dudes for the rest of their careers. And that's not. I'm not blaming him for that. He's put himself in a position where he's that great.
I don't blame him.
It is. Right.
You know what? Here's the thing also.
He's on ghost chase mode, but a lot of people that he's either rumored to join or the guys that he's playing with right now, especially after the trade they made, they're not ready to, fully be engaged with LeBron's ghost chase. Because during that chase, when it doesn't happen, it's everybody's fault except for his.
Except for
and
LeBron.
That could mess with the psyche of these young players.
Look what happened to Rodney Hood. How that messed his head up. Now imagine
he didn't even want to play
Joel
last week.
In a
I'm cool.
and get this. Imagine that with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons in that media market in Philly. That is a Shark Tank out there, and those guys aren't. Sometimes here's the thing. Like I saw that article you posted in the chat, Dev, and I said that months ago. They're going to miss Dwayne Wade. They're going to miss a player like that who got LeBron's ear, who could actually give you 10, 15 minutes. Or even if he has a veteran that get through to Isaiah Thomas, he could have been your heck of a six-man right there. Mm-hmm. But you needed some strong people there to say, hey, look, this is the easiest way to get your money. You be a productive six-man, you can still get your – not may not be a max, but you still get some good bread. And so those players were there. They weren't given a time to jail. It was, hey, we ain't looking too good right now, trade them. But that's why I fought the front office in this regard. They should tell LeBron no. But at the end of the day, they're in salary cap hell. They only that pick this year, the only good pick they have for foreseeable future, and he's still gone anyway.
That's the thing, though. We talk about how much they he doesn't have help, but they're in record territory as far as the salary cap goes. Like when you have to tell somebody yes all the time, you basically just destroy your cap.
Destroy your franchise.
I was shocked when they made the trade myself, though. I was like, I thought they would give that team a little more time. You know what I mean?
But hold on, Tobias.
Go ahead, Jim.
Tobias, here's my thing, man. Like, in your words, your own words, let's be honest here. You can add Isaiah Thomas, you can add the original Isaiah Thomas, and you can add Dwayne Wade back in that. You're not beating the Golden State Warriors. So everything you're saying is cool in retrospect, but it didn't matter. So he's not beating the team.
They would probably have a better shot.
There's no Cleveland team had since been in the NBA that could have beat this Warriors team.
But Jim, here's my point. Here's my point on it. Here's my point on that. They wouldn't be in salary cap hell right now.
I think
But see, they won't be locked into Jordan Clarkson and those guys like that.
Yeah, but like that. I mean, here's the thing. No one thinks that he's staying anyway. But I'm talking about in terms of the current run. In terms of this current run,
they won't win anyway.
Like, if you look at the teams they had, like again, and we're talking about this Warriors team. You could have took the best players off every Cleveland LeBron has had since he stepped in the NBA. They're not beating this team. So I mean, you can say what you want. Isaiah Thomas was playing terrible. Isaiah Thomas was playing terrible at the beginning. As a matter of fact, he had a terrible season all around. He probably cost himself millions. Dwayne Wade, I mean, he probably shouldn't have played.
I'm sure I'm in the minority, Jim, but I know they look ridiculous on some nights. I don't think this team is invincible, though. I mean, nobody stepped up to prove a point. Nobody stepped up to prove a point, but I don't think the one team that could beat them took them to 7. The one team that could have beat them, in my opinion, took them to 7. The team doesn't look invincible, but to me, that's the scary part because half of the time it look like they're going for it. But then the only team that's proven that they could beat them, whether luck or not, is standing right in front of them without Kyrie. Without Kyrie Irving.
Even the games that they lost, like in the Houston series, I never for a minute thought they even would lose those games because they have a button that they push. It's weird because, like we mentioned this in previous shows, since getting KD on their team, it's like they be relaxing because they feel they can win.
That's
and
a cheat
this is why like they come out in the third quarter sometimes and just bomb on teams after playing terrible the entire first half because they be going half-ass. So they just play different lineups with Joe McGee and David. It's unfair.
It is impressive when Clay and Steph can combine for 21 on the highest stage and they can still win a game.
Can I bring up something about that? The Warriors also. Can I bring up something about the Warriors also? The one thing that's underrated about this team, not only the defense, but to me, the Golden State Warriors are the pool hustlers of basketball. You know what the pool hustler, you think he sucks, but they kill you? Everybody think they just tend to just jack up threes like Houston. They get so many layups and mid-range jumpers, and they somehow got everybody wanting to go crazy jacking threes. But here's the thing with them. Yep. Everybody on that team know their role, and they embrace their role. People keep talking Sean Livingston shoot threes. Why? He's 6'7", can shoot over any point guard mid-range. It's like Eagle Dog knows his role.
People want everybody to shoot threes. People just want people to shoot threes.
So this team knows their role, and that's a factor also.
Those are all great. Those are all great points. When I look at what's going on now, to go back to your earlier point, Dev, I actually don't think that this team, that this as currently constituted, is as bad as the media is going to let them have it. Like, I think that if Rodney Hood, in the right circumstances, was taught and nurtured, I think he could be a legit 18 to 20 points per game. We see what Kevin Love now again.
16 a game off the bench in Utah. He was something like that.
Yeah, he was leading. He was leading the team in scoring. Alabama, they were trash, but he can score offensively. He is nice in the NBA.
Yeah, but they ended up,
to your point,
they ended up in the second round of the playoffs.
It wouldn't matter, as you said. You could take the best two players off of every Cleveland team in the last 45 years, and they're not beating these dudes.
You can get Mark Price, Burke Doherty.
Yeah, this boy was Rodney Hood was 16.8 a game before the trade.
Yeah. 20. He was 20 points,
and that was starting 12 games.
Here's the thing, though. And I'm not saying this on no tip like it's an accomplishment, it's not a failure because they made it. But they're playing NBA Finals, so they have to have a certain level of talent to be in the NBA Finals.
Bingo.
Is really that trash, which I don't think they are. But they're in the NBA Finals. But again,
Jim, but who's going to say that besides people like us? Who's going to say that besides people like us? Everybody going to say, "Look at the team LeBron dragged to the finals." I think that simplifies the game, oversimplifies the game. I don't even like it when people say that about Allen Iverson, man. That really disrespects.
People say it about everybody, though.
Who works hard.
Listen, man,
let Allen Iverson and LeBron go out there for real, Jim, by themselves, and see how many rebounds they're going to get, see how many of the five guys they can guard at one time. It's really disrespectful to just say somebody did something all by themselves in a team.
But listen, people do it all the time. Listen, over this past week, I've seen someone say that Jordan dragged all his teams to the finals. I'm like, dog, there's other Hall of Famers on that team. I heard someone say Kobe. Listen, someone posted a meme that was in our journal that said Kobe dragged the team to the finals, but that team had Pau Gasol and 3 other double-digit scorers, so that made no sense. I heard someone said Dirk won a finals by himself against LeBron and the Cats in Miami. I'm like,
and how ridiculous
this is what they do. Though.
Dirk did his thing, but how ridiculous is that? Because Dirk barely guards his own man. So who was guarding everybody?
AJ Barea was cooking. You know what though?
Dirk barely guards his own man. So he played defense when Dirk was.
But this is what happens, man. It's part of like getting to that point because you get to pick up for you when you lose and they give you the credit when you win. I hate when people
simplify these beautiful games, man.
They do though. They do.
You know, I'll say this quick thing before I go on touch on the Eagles real quick. First thing first, when these people look at it, like how many All-Stars are Hall of Famers. Nowadays, it's like anybody can make the Hall of Fame now. And so it's not about that. It's about guys knowing their role, guys doing their thing. And, but I started thinking about y'all talking about the Eagles and stuff. I got to give Stephen A. a point on this one. Like,
that's
Donald
cool,
Trump played the NFL.
That's what we're talking about.
No, you don't. You ain't got to give him nothing.
No, but what I'm saying is like Donald Trump
doing segues for us. Shout out. That's what we're talking about.
That's what I'm saying. But like the thing is, the Eagles, these players ain't gonna go. Donald Trump didn't want to look bad, so he'll cancel it. Guess what? There are a lot of athletes that didn't go to see Obama. So what? But the thing that gets me is, Michael, like I said in that group, Jimmy rapped about it.
Tobias, it was never less than 10.
I know.
He was
It
going
was
to
probably
have a
like
regular
50 people.
get together at the house, like.
But also,
it was
also
gonna be
Myers, you got to think about the political climate we're in. When you have every black player say they're not coming, even if the ones that came, it would look real crazy. Considering the team is majority a black team, and you got nothing but the white folks there that play on the team standing next to them, that optic would have mad.
And crazy. Riley Cooper may get a camp invite to go. But here's the thing. I'll say this. But I'll say this. Like me and Jimmy talked about in the chat the other day, Michael Jenkins probably learned a valuable lesson. Like you said, Jimmy, Ice Cube said, no matter how comfortable you make white people feel,
here's what they think about you.
Look how they still thought about him. He tried everything in his power to make them comfortable, and look what they still say about him. Just think about that, guys. But hey, you guys have a good one. Thanks for taking my call, guys.
Know that already? You thought that he thought that they liked him or something? Like he not. No, y'all not giving that man enough credit.
I mean,
I know the point he's trying to make, but
Jenkins.
I don't think. No, I really don't think it was a lesson. I don't think he didn't know that. Like he went in and talked to who he talked to. I'm pretty sure he knew that the public, the everyday white person, they didn't bang with him like that. So I didn't look at it as a lesson. Like he's surprised, like, oh my God, they're turning on me. But.
Listen, man. I think
Tobias, we holler at you, man. I think Tobias already hung up anyway.
Yeah, Tobias bounced.
He bounced on.
Yeah, so as far as Donald Trump goes, y'all know, and Jimmy made a good point, in the political climate, optics are very important. But, with him, just him by himself, how that is for him. Like, this is the man that comes on TV the day after his inauguration and says he had record numbers. But when you looked at the picture of the crowd compared to, like, the crowds from the last two presidents, his crowd looked like Kevin Durant's hair. Like, it was scarce and, like, little balls of people over here, little balls of people over there. So I'm like, that's important to him. Whether the political climate or not, that's important to him to not look stupid. So he'll come and tell you something that for a fact that you saw with your own eyes isn't true, and he'll still come tell you that because he feels the need to have those labels and those quote unquote records behind his name. So there was no way, he was gonna. I mean, because this was another Golden State Warriors situation where basically 80% of the team said they weren't coming. So then he says they're not invited, but they weren't coming anyway. Cause like you pull the invitation after they already tell you that they're not going to come. Let me read some of his.
Your man, Donald.
Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm looking for some of his quotes. You can say what you're about to say.
This is interesting because I'm seeing even the conservatives are distancing themselves from him because of how abrasive and just utterly wrong he is. There's a strong contingent of NFL supporters who will at least acknowledge what's going on with these protests and why, and then speak to the fact that, hey, Trump, what are you talking about? Like, you're clearly lying, and you're taking us down with you because we're associated with you because of the partisan attachment. So it's interesting to watch it unfold.
Let me read his Twitter statement on the reason for the cancellation. He said the Philadelphia Eagles football team was invited to the White House. Unfortunately, only a small number of players decided to come, and we canceled the event. Staying in the locker room for the playing of our national anthem is as disrespectful to our country as kneeling. Sorry. All right, can any of y'all tell me what the hell any of that had to do with the Eagles visiting the White House?
Nothing at all.
The policy that he just spoke about, staying in the locker room, that has nothing to do with the visit. That hasn't even started yet. And if he wants to make the Eagles visit about kneeling, newsflash, the Eagles were one of, I think, 2 teams in the league that didn't have a single player kneel the entire season last year. Because if y'all remember, like, especially last year, even Malcolm Jenkins and the guys that he was with, they never kneeled. They just put their fists in the air in protest. So, I mean, that might be semantics, but at the same time, he's making this about anthem protests, and the visit and the cancellation of the visit really didn't have much to do with that. Like, sure, players don't bang with your policy. They don't like you. I'm sure that is in some of their reasoning somewhere, but he tried to make this into something that it wasn't. Because, again, he looks embarrassed that nobody wants to come, chill out with him. So he has to throw that out there so he can feed into his base again and get people angry at a situation. And it works, because I've been looking at message boards all weekend, and I saw people saying, Malcolm Jenkins, I hope you and your team's plane crashes, unpatriotic, this and that. And, like, people are really venomous about this visit, because the first thing he did was throw out something that he knew would rile up the people and get them on his side. This is the times we are living in, man. Like Jimmy always says, man, what a time to be alive. It is absolutely crazy out here in these streets. All right, so, and one more thing about that. Fox News got into the act when the whole cancellation came about. And Zach Ertz actually had something to say about them and their propaganda, because what they did when they reported the story, they showed Zach Ertz and a bunch of other Eagles players kneeling with their arms locked as their photos to back up the story. Now, Zach Ertz was like, it's a damn shame that Fox News has to do this kind of stuff just to try to make their point. They showed a bunch of pictures of me and my teammates kneeling in prayer way before the anthem is being played at these games. Has nothing to do with the anthem. And they used that, like I said, to rile up their base fans. Surprisingly, though, Fox News actually issued a statement. They said, during our report about President Trump canceling the Philadelphia Eagles trip to the White House to celebrate their Super Bowl win, we showed unrelated footage of players kneeling in prayer. To clarify, no members of the team knelt in protest during the national anthem throughout the regular season or postseason last year. We apologize for the error. Wow.
Yeah,
did y'all expect that? Did you expect that, Jimmy? Or did they get an apology because the white guy said something?
Well, that's exactly where I was going. You knew I was going there. But I just want to say a couple things about the conversation overall. B. Austin, you must have a different echo chamber than me, because I see conservatives doubling down on every and anything. It's kind of ridiculous, but this is what I see, like, when I'm on Twitter, looking at MAGA Twitter, as I call it.
I think he's going to win again.
And also, yeah, I definitely think, I had an argument with somebody the other day who's a good, and he's of the opinion that, how is it possible with everything that he's done? And I'm like, listen, they about to show you who they really are. And the funny thing is, like, I love the fact that some people still are optimistic, because we need that. We don't need everyone to be pessimistic, although I don't myself pessimistic. I consider myself to be a realist, and I know what this country is made of, but some still, like, see the other side, and you need that. But to me, if he wins, it wouldn't even be shocking at this point. But why would anyone be shocked is what I don't get, because this brother I was talking to, he said he would be shocked. And he's a progressive guy. But he just feels like this guy is going so far and does so many evil things in his life directly in people's faces that no one's that stupid. And I'm like, yes, they are. But I'm saying also, I don't know, like, where you're seeing this, but I see people backing him, doubling down. And he knows this, which is why he plays to that piece, which is why Fox does what they do what they do until they were actually called out on it. Because at this point, facts don't even matter in 2018. It's about, what can I sell? What story can I sell? Can I pull at your emotional strings to make you forget exactly what we're talking about? The whole thing with why they're kneeling is not even being discussed. So the whole thing with the Eagles and why they didn't discuss, because they just changed the story. It's bread and circuses. They changed the whole narrative of this whole Eagles trip.
Like Jenkins' big ass what's them joints called? What's the little cards called that we used to use in school? The
Cards.
The 3-card money joint.
Index
cards.
cards.
Index cards.
Oh,
This
index
boy
cards.
said 3-card mine. That's what Jimmy did in school. Forgive him.
Oh, my bad. I'm snitching on
No, I
myself.
said just like on his big ass index card. He said you all aren't listening. Like you're not listening. And the whole time,
You're not listening.
we
You
talk about it
definitely
all the time. You're not listening, but it's not that they don't have the capacity to listen. They just don't give a hell what we're talking about. Like nobody cares.
Yo, but this is
Like,
but what's hilarious to me is these are the games that people play with kids. Like if a kid asks you something you really don't want to answer it, you just start something else you know they're interested in because you know that you'll distract them and they'll forget what they asked you to begin with. This is something you do with kids. He's doing this to the country.
well, kids and black people.
People fall for it all. People fall for it all the time. People fall for it all the time. And it's amazing because listen, there's so much data, there's so much information out there, and people don't even care about facts. They don't care about facts. It's like, you know, if somebody proves that the president did something wrong, he'll just start complaining about immigration. Next thing you know, they're complaining about immigration.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not the fact that the commander-in-chief, as people call him, just does what he wants to do. Like,
Killing black people in the
really
streets. Build that wall.
It's really a interesting study in human behavior, and it makes me realize that we are animals. Like we're essentially animals, and no matter how advanced that we feel we are, we don't change. There's part of us that don't change.
It's such a disrespectful thing, though. Like somebody complaining to you about something serious, and you just throw a beach ball in front of their face so they can start popping the beach ball around.
Man, it is. I read this article, and I actually brought it up again with someone recently. I brought it up a while ago on the show, and it was talking about like Trump and the whole anti-intellectualism. But it's really an interesting like dynamic where it's kind of somehow this guy has made people feel like it's cool to be dumb.
Mm-hmm.
It just acts. No, it's crazy. Think about it because he gets people to act strictly on emotion. Facts damned, data be damned. What pulls you emotionally, and we're going to act on that.
Well,
like everything
plus,
that he does is about talking points.
Plus, also, you know, I don't have any POMA stats to pull, but there's a vast percentage of people where their only aspirations in life are, you know, their only modicum of success is like financial success, fame, stuff like that. So you could be as dumb as a boo,
I have the POMA stat
but
on
if
that.
you have some fame or some monetary success to show people, then people will follow you. You know what I'm saying? People will want to be like you. Nobody, like a lot of people don't aspire to be intelligent.
79.5% of America.
Beyonce got the numbers.
I didn't have a POMA for it.
79.9% of the population. Listen, man,
79.5.
in the words of the great Robert Nesta Marley, man, some people are so poor all they have is money. Woo! That's a bar. That's a bar.
That's deep right there. That's deep right there.
That's a bar.
So deep.
Shout out to Bob Marley for that.
All right.
But anyway.
So last week we reported on the Brian Colangelo, Philadelphia 76ers burner account narcissist story. And everything, you know, finally, the axe finally fell. The Sixers and Colangelo, quote unquote, decided to part ways, a.k.a. the Sixers allowed him to resign to keep a little bit of his dignity before they had to fire him themselves. Now, I don't know why they did that. Maybe it's a respect thing. You know, I thought other things at first, but then I was like, maybe it's a respect thing because the Colangelo family is damn near basketball royalty at this point. So even though I heard Jerry, his dad, sent out some threats to the Sixers if they fired him.
Yo, shout out to Jerry.
I think they still were like,
alone.
okay, we're going to allow him to resign with some dignity rather than, you know, embarrass him with reports of him being fired. But
my man said, leave my boy alone before I let these hands go. I got to hurt on all you clowns.
Right. And his wife is actually taking one for the team. She's falling on the sword because they're trying to say that those accounts belong to her.
FOH.
FOH. That's what I'm about to say. Like, bottom line, FOH. I mean, if you looked at how they did their investigation with the phone numbers and all that kind of stuff, because, you know, with Twitter, all you got to do is say you lost your password, and they're going to send you something to the phone number that it's associated with. And they did say at least three of the accounts came back to a phone number ending in 91. His wife's phone number does end in 91. But in no way, when I heard that earlier in the week, did I think his wife is doing this. I'm like, okay, he's just using his wife's number to get a few of these burners.
We don't believe you. You need more people.
Exactly. So the big question now is, you know, what's going to happen with the 76ers over the summer? It's a big summer for them. They were rumored to be going after people like LeBron James, Paul George, you know, maybe getting to the trade mix for Kawhi Leonard. And right now, unless they rush into something, they have to do a lot of this without a general manager. So what do you guys think, you know, the summer is going to entail for the 76ers?
This is interesting. First thing I want to say is shout out to his pop for, like, threatening the league. Because I have a weird take on this, man. I know it's, like, culturally a lot of times, like, we don't like to do that, right? For instance, give an example of what I'm trying to say. I was listening to T.I.'s son. T.I.'s son actually makes music. And I found myself on Google Play listening to it. And I was like, this isn't bad. And I found that it was T.I.'s son after I listened to it. Right? So I'm like, I wonder why he didn't get his pop. So make a long story short, I was reading an interview, and he says, I want to do everything on my own. I didn't want to use his name and set in the third. Yo, other cultures, they don't care about that, dog. Like, I work my home so I can give you advantage. You're going to take advantage.
I take it even deeper, Jimmy. In our culture, and this is a part because of au fait culture as well, but we hit between the age of 18 and definitely by 21, you got to get the F out the crib. Like other cultures, they allow you to get a master's degree living at home under your mom's roof, mother and father's roof, saving money, building for your future, and you can move out when you're 32.
Put your name on the orange juice and smashing chicks in the basement.
You work your tail off so your kids are supposed to have advantage. Somehow our culture,
but
they be like, I want to do it myself.
And we'll be relatively financially stable and kick our kids out the crib at 18. Oh, you got to do it on your own. You like no.
What?
So and how I tie that in the story is I just found that his pop stepped in, had to say nothing, but he letting y'all know, like, listen, I built this career, my legacy, and I'm willing to, like, let my hands go for my boy. So I thought that was dope. But on the flip side, his wife is full of it. In terms of how this relates to the Sixers, what they're going to do summer, there's so many rumors about the Sixers hiring a former Cavs general manager, and that's going to be a play for Bron. I can see that happening. I definitely
that's my conspiracy theory as well. I think, you know, David Griffin is on his name is going to pop up on the docket because they're going to, like you said, think that it's going to give them a better chance at landing LeBron James. So don't be surprised, everybody out there, if that, you know, is the situation with a hire at least. Back to the nepotism thing. Like, you see how Michael Jordan's kids kind of turned out. If I was his son, especially the one that's rapping and, you know, doing all that stuff that he was doing, I tell people Michael Jordan's my dad everywhere I went. I tell them that Michael Jordan's my dad in Starbucks. Like, when they ask me what name to write on the cup, it's gonna be
Michael Jordan is my dad.
Whatever his name is, Michael Jordan's son. Like, you better
here's
use
the thing,
that.
though. Here's the crazy part. We live in a culture where somebody probably got that. His kids.
What'd you say?
That's the culture we live in. So we live in a culture where somebody probably has that tattoo and it ain't his kid.
But his kid can't get nothing off of it. I told y'all, boy, probably sell Jordans on eBay. That's probably what he's doing right now. All right, so it's a crazy situation, man, with the whole Brian Colangelo thing. Like, how much of a bonehead is he, though? Like, you've inherited a team that was on the build even though a lot of people a lot of fans in the city wouldn't give him full props on that, nationally, the sentiment wasn't the same. So you had a chance nationally to basically get props for what this team might end up becoming because, you know, after the cupboard was stripped bare and my man came in with Brinks trucks full of money, you did get to go out and buy the groceries. Well, you know, over the last few years. You got out there and could buy groceries, so you could have been, you know what I mean? He could have got mad props for this, but he out here slamming people on Twitter.
Listen, here's what's crazy about this, right? What's crazy about this to me is this just goes to show you how like mentally weak most of us are as people, right? So a lot of times when we put our content out there on Blog Talk, YouTube, or mobile app or whatever, we get a lot of feedback and we get 95% positive feedback for our show. But that 5% like bothers, like I got to a point where it doesn't bother me anymore, but I understand that it bothers me.
Go off, like,
because all of this goes back to him not being able to accept criticism, be called to the carpet for his moves and things that he does. If he would have been the one to say land LeBron, regardless of how it out, he would have got props for bringing basketball player in the world to Philadelphia. Although LeBron would have been coming for him, he'd been coming for the young talent. He would have got the props for that. Let's just say they win a championship. He gets the props for all that. Meanwhile, the evil genius is gone, but we all know that. You know what I mean? Shout out to Henke, salute to God. But
they should bring him back, man. Let him finish what he started.
And it's funny because I've heard other people who put out, like, you know, whether it's content, works of art, books, whatever. I've talked about, and they say the same thing. Like, that's the hardest part is dealing with criticism. But this, like, you have a job that's paying you goo gobs of money, been handed an amazing situation, but that still bothered you that much that you had to do these burner accounts. Like, he was talking about even his clothing on one of them joints. Like, there's nothing wrong with my collar. Like, seriously, cuz? Like, you gotta learn.
Right, down to his clothes. He was defending his gear.
Like,
Brian Colangelo gear weak.
Like,
no, his gear is not weak.
Like you gotta learn to, like. But my thing is, the reason why you get paid what you paid, the reason why you're able to have that position is because you do have to deal with that. That's part of it. But it just to show you how weak some of us are. You know, so that's something that he has to work on, like, you know, in terms of his own personal feelings and his own personal brand and how he moves forward in life. Because who's going to hire him at this point? Maybe somebody because they want to do a favor for his pop. Who knows?
Pop gonna threaten him. He's out the league. His pop may be able to help him, but he's out the league for at least.
He might be out the league, but regardless of whatever he does in life, that's something he needs to go work on. My man needs therapy, dog.
His dad will get him.
For that.
His dad will get him with a bad franchise. Try to turn that around.
You risk it all for that. Come on, man. If you know, you know.
To defend your shirts. Come on, cuz. His gear weak. No, it's not. JoJo's gear weak. Joel's gear is weak. Not mine. Like, what? All right, so anyway, let's go to stat of the week real quick before we get into what happened while y'all were on the grind. And stat of the week, because he breaks records like every week, damn near. LeBron James, in Game 2, in his 29-point game, he surpassed five-time NBA champion Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I'm sorry, six-time NBA champion. The story has it wrong.
The number's right.
Kareem, huh?
Get your numbers
right. 6, ain't it? He won 5 with the Lakers and 1 with the Bucks, right?
And 1 with the Bucks. Bucks.
This John say 5-time NBA champion, 6-time NBA champion Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for second most points in NBA Finals history. So he's now scored. Well, this is before Game 3. He's now scored 1,327 total points in his Finals career. Kareem was second. He retired with 1,317 points. LeBron is still chasing who might be, no, not even might. He's chasing the greatest NBA runner-up of all time and the league's logo, Jerry West. And they said, you know, he wouldn't be able to do it in this final series, even if he averaged 50 points per game for the rest of the series, because Jerry West scored 1,679 points in the NBA Finals in his 9 appearances. in those 9 appearances, Jerry West and his team went 1-8 in the finals. So, there's going to be this conversation is going to come up because you're going to have, if LeBron if this series keeps going the way it's going, LeBron's going to be 3-6. There's no telling how many more times he's going to make it and either win or lose. But if his record keeps plummeting in the finals like this, there's going to be a big conversation about that later on in life, about the top 2 scorers in NBA Finals history were both like the greatest runner-ups that the league has ever seen. So LeBron might want to work his hardest to turn that around.
Well, I guess the one thing
Jerry don't get that much.
Jerry ain't getting no more. Jerry ain't getting more rings. So he already beat.
Yeah, 1-8. But these are things that you don't really hear about Jerry West, though. So that's why I believe, like what Jimmy says later, like 30 years down the line, like nobody's going to talk about LeBron teaming up with the Heat. Nobody's going to talk about Durant teaming up with the Golden State Warriors. I mean, we were there, we lived it. So until I'm dead in my grave, I'm going to call these bands.
But that's the thing, like. As time goes on, these things just become like stats and like context is lost until you do the research. The problem is we live in a generation now where nobody wants to do research. You just go by head. So go do the research. There's always context. There's context to everything. Like when people talk about Wilt only did this, there's context to every single finals loss that Wilt had is context to if you actually go back and read the history.
Right.
And some who want to argue for LeBron will give context to that in terms of he being with them and the whole dynamic of injuries. Context to everything, man. Listen, I learned a while ago, man. No one's right and no one's wrong. It's all about your perspective. Word to stars being. That's where I got that from. But I got some. I guess I gotta hit the horn for this though.
Uh-oh.
Now, this may only be breaking news to my brother B. Austin because this is his sport, which is
Kim Kardashian got Mumi out? Oh, I'm sorry.
No. It's about soccer. It's about, they call it football. We call it soccer. But there's a World Cup coming up in Russia. And there's a scandal that just got exposed. They caught over 100 referees taking bribes, and they even got one dude on camera taking bribes.
Oh.
So there's a big referee scandal that just like broke in the world of soccer.
Yo,
my man,
was it a cell phone camera, man? Was it a cell phone camera?
Yo, the one boy literally was risked everything for $600. He was about to promise
So my man was just trying to pay his cell phone bill before they left for the. He was trying to keep his phone for the tournament.
I knew when it went to Russia that bribes were going to get involved because Russia's like a first world country in a lot of ways, but when it comes to getting money on the bribery tip,
they do
they third world all the way.
When it comes to getting money on the bribery tip, I gotta make that a T-shirt. When it comes to getting money on the bribery tip,
on the bribery tip,
on the bribery tip, brother.
All right, so y'all can check out our website at warroomsports.com. But if you want to call in and speak with us about any of today's topics, dial the Digital Extreme Tech Hotline. That number is 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. But if you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. And we're going to quickly breeze through these on the grind topics because we got to get to the NBA Finals, of course. So While You're on the Grind is brought to you by the illustrious Sports the Book. You guys tired of reading the same old sports books? Were they having the same old conversations that you see every day about who's the GOAT, who's not the GOAT, who had more help, who didn't have help, all these imaginary lists and rankings and starting lineups and, top 10 lists that don't include Wilt, Magic, Bird, and all kinds of stuff that I've been seeing this week? Y'all tired of all that bull crap, just be sure to pick up your copy of Sports. Now, stay with me because that's an acronym. Sports. If you can spell, smart people only read the sports. Figure that out yourself. It's a mixture of sports, hip-hop culture, and comedy that'll keep you on the edge of your seat, that'll keep you laughing, that'll keep you thinking. Just go to sportsthebook.com and get your copy from our website at warroomsports.com. whatever you do, just don't miss the movement. And of course, Sports the Book was written by War Room Sports' own Jimmy the Blueprint. Take your bow, good brother, on a great work of art.
Yes, sir. Yo, real quick before you, I'll ask you a quick question there. Did you see that New York Post article about Kevin Durant and Kendrick Perkins?
I didn't. I ain't peeped that yet.
Yo, I just want to bring this up real quick because I came across it. But the New York Post had an article about them basically cussing at each other on the game. But they have a picture of both of them, and the headline says Kevin Durant in a Cavs scrub had a bizarre exchange.
Yeah.
They didn't even put my man's name in this joint. That's
Jim, I'm trying to think.
I'm
trying to think. Did I submit an article to the New York Post today?
That's what I was saying. That's why I haven't.
I haven't. I'm about to say I haven't freelanced in a while for another publication.
That's what it literally says on the headline. The headline is crazy.
Yo, I might print that out and put it in a frame in my man cave. And that's funny because in one of these grind topics, we're going to talk about Kendrick Perkins inserting himself into the NBA Finals without a uniform. All right, so while y'all were on the grind, y'all man Gilbert Arenas is back at it, and when he's in the news,
it ain't never nothing good.
Stop. So basically, a woman has obtained a temporary warrant through the L.A. County Superior Court on him. I guess it's kind of like a restraining order or whatever. But she said that Gilbert Arenas, they're claiming her to be a former girlfriend. So she hit him with the restraining order. She alleged that he blackmailed her by threatening to send nude pictures and videos of her to her 10-year-old son. So this is what she said. She said, Gilbert told me he was watching me at my son's school and that he had just saw him go into class. He said he was waiting to get my son's cell phone number from his son. I don't get what he's saying. This is weird. He said he was waiting to get my son's cell phone number from his son. Okay. Gilbert's son must be friends with this dude's son. They must go to school together. I'm trying to catch up because the story is pretty choppy. So he was trying to get the cell phone number of this kid from his son so he could send her child naked pictures and videos of she and Gilbert Arenas having sex. Then she said, the allegations get worse than just the blackmail part. She said that on May 23rd, Gilbert pushed her against the wall and demanded sex. She did it because out of fear, basically. And Gilbert, of course, takes to social media when all of this happens, and this dude says, which one of you funky bitches lying on me? 99% of you hoes couldn't get me to call you back after I hit. Now someone wants a restraining on me. He didn't say order. Wants a restraining on me. Then he says, listen, I know my mini-me is like crack, but don't play yourself like I'm bothering one of y'all. TMZ, hashtag fake news. Yo, your man said his joint is crack.
Oh, the mini-me.
He said his joint is crack. He said, which one of you funky biatches is lying on me? Yo, Gilbert is always into something, even when he has not much going on in his life.
Always into something.
This is what happens when you give somebody a whole lot of money, but don't give them a whole lot to do. Quick thoughts on this, man, so we can breeze through this.
Yo, I don't know what to say other than, Gilbert, man, you gotta chill.
Gilbert being Gilbert.
Gilbert being Gilbert, man. If you know, you know.
Yuck. All right, Gilbert. So we'll see where these allegations lead to, because it sounds like not only did she say the blackmail, but she tried to throw a little Me Too action up in there. So Gilbert might be on the hot seat coming up, because I don't know the rules.
A lot of dudes run in fear with kind of stuff comes up, he's gonna embrace that and then just be more ratchet. So
he's gonna make everything worse. and I have a feeling even if he ended up in court over this, he's still gonna be in court saying the wrong things against his lawyer's advice. So
absolutely, something's wrong with the boy. Let's be off the.
You want to get entertainment out of somebody's, possible misery, but it's going to be very entertaining if this is taken any further. Kareem Hunt.
I'm on tape supporting this dude at some point in my earlier career, man.
No, it's crazy how life flips like that, man. It's crazy. He's just a very immature cat, but very, very, very entertaining. Kareem Hunt, running back from the Kansas City Chiefs, allegedly punched a man in the face at an Ohio resort on Sunday morning after a verbal altercation. Nobody, nothing has come out after the initial report with any details. They said the alleged victim reportedly didn't seek medical attention, and he told TMZ that he didn't plan on pressing charges. So, I don't know if this was somebody he knew. Maybe the fact that he's not, pressing charges, like maybe this was one of his homies that he was supporting or something. He got out of line, he punched him in his face. You got to eat that because you want that check to keep coming. But that's just speculation. I just made that up completely. In February, a 19-year-old woman told police that Kareem Hunt pushed her at a hotel in Cleveland, but Hunt and his friends said the accuser called him the N-word and punched one of his female friends. So whether or not that's true, I don't know. But, we throw that out there sometimes because it's easy. I know, I'm going to do the same thing. If I ever get in trouble for punching a white dude in the face, I'm going to say he called me an N-word. Pretty much works. So any thoughts on Kareem Hunt before we move on? He seems to be establishing a history of putting his hands on folks.
Yeah.
Kareem seems to have some
typical football behavior, footballer being a footballer.
Yeah, he needs to chill, man. He need to chill. Like, you just need to chill, dog. Like,
but his hands aren't registered like a boxer. I mean, I'd say if he put his shoulder into you, that might be an arrestable offense.
My thing is that at that age, you got to learn to express yourself and fight without your hands. If you can't, then you got issues.
Yeah, everybody not clever enough to destroy people with words. I'm teaching my son that as we speak because he got into a little verbal altercation at school the other day, and the people said when I came to school to get him, they said he had got in trouble for saying something about some kid's mom. I'm like, damn, it's 2018, youngin', you still going to the mama jokes? Like, I got to teach you how to destroy somebody, in a clever way where they even got to think about whether they got destroyed or not just now. Like, they got to really think about it. Like, did he just? and you need some smarter people to hype it up. Like, yeah, he just played you out. So I need to teach him that because the mama jokes, that's so 80s. Shit, your mom. Yeah, like. I think Chase said young boy called him an idiot, so Chase called his mom something. Your mom idiot. But it's still cool because it still sounds tough. But
dog, that's the greatest line ever. Like when you just can't think enough. Yo, your mom. Like,
you say your mom. All right, Zeke and Dak. Got a report for y'all about Zeke and Dak. Leaders of the Dallas Cowboys.
Walking around in public with penis.
Yo, I'm sorry. Zeke and Dak on their guys' trip to Florida went to some little convenience store and bought a bunch of penis-shaped squirt guns, and they holstered them up in their pants. In Zeke's case, he put it in his fanny pack and had the penis part sticking up out of the fanny pack.
Do you have a fanny
there
pack?
are photos of this as well, of him walking through the club with a fanny pack with a penis hanging out of the fanny pack. So they went around the nightclub brandishing squirting penises and squirting each other and squirting women. And, this was Dak, Zeke, and several Cowboys offensive linemen. So they decided to squirt each other with some quote unquote water wieners. Is this a Jake Gyllenhaal, Heath Ledger situation here? Brokeback Cowboys? Like, what are we doing? Walking around squirting penises at each other?
Now, as Philadelphia Eagles fan, as just ignorant,
immature,
intelligent jokesters, it doesn't get more. This is a alley-oop with a ladder.
This is why the Cowboys are the Cowboys.
Yo, but I want to ask every Cowboys fan within earshot, are y'all still fans of this team?
Yo, the leaders of your team are squirting penis guns at each other.
Squirting penis
the leaders
at each other. Like, at what? Like, let's roll this back, right? All right. So we're men of a certain age, but our youth isn't that far gone. Now, I want you guys to think back 15 to 20 years and say, all right, yo, we going to where we going? We going to the Dominican Republic. We going to Cancun. Yo, Jim. We gonna go in the store. We gotta get some liquor. We gotta get some weed. We gotta get some penises to carry around and squirt each other with the penises. And we're gonna squirt some girls too, but we're gonna squirt each other too. You know, that's most important that we squirt each other with the penises. Not real penises, but penises.
So my first question when I read this was like, I just want to know who raised them and were they like product of a single
who
household?
raised you? Jim, you gotta get that on the soundboard. Who raised you?
Yo, they thought in their mind they thought that this was I don't want to be of this generation. Like I have no why is this okay? And they will argue you down, but we're not gay though.
Huh?
Yo, you running around the club with a dick.
Oh my God. It's crazy, man.
What has he done? Can you tell me? Big.
Yo, somehow that's appropriate. That's appropriate. I don't know how.
Because at the end he said he's got the AIDS. Well, they squirting penises on each other, so you don't know. Like this is just weird, man. But if y'all out there and y'all bang with the Dallas Cowboys, no pun intended.
Casey Mack, I need an explanation. Lionel Hickman, I called you by your government. I need an explanation.
Casey Mack can easily say I'm riding with the Chiefs. Exactly. Yeah, he can easily just say I'm riding with the Chiefs. But there's Cowboys fans everywhere and anywhere. So if y'all got an explanation for this, if y'all even going to try to defend this, then, y'all know our number, first of all. Y'all can hit us up. 323-410-0012. If you're a Cowboys fan out there and you got an explanation for your team captains running around buying penis guns for their offensive line and themselves.
And squirting each other.
And running around and squirting each other with them. If you got an explanation for that, hit us up. We would love to hear it. Shout out to the Dallas Cowboys and what they do. Now, back to Kendrick Perkins. As I said earlier, he's inserted himself into the NBA Finals and hasn't even been issued an official uniform. So the other night, Steph, I guess he was shooting a last-second three at the buzzer. He faded back to the out-of-bounds line, and Kendrick Perkins wouldn't move his foot. So I guess Steph might have tripped over his foot or something like that. Steph looks at him. Kendrick Perkins gets up off the bench. These guys square up on each other. Steph look him up and down like Martin did John Sally in Bad Boys. Kendrick Perkins had some things to say about it in the media afterwards. Like he was on his whole tough thing. And he said, I don't think I'm the problem they want. He basically said, I don't know why people keep wanting to pick battles this way. Might want to choose that effing way wisely, man, rather than effing with me. I don't think I'm the problem that they want, though. Might want to pick another battle. Come on, Lil Mouth.
Why has he got a platform for one? And two, my thing is, if I'm Ty Lue,
people love drama.
I'm gonna take you at your word. I'm just gonna put you in the game and give foul out real fast and let Drake see how tough Draymond really is. Like
especially
if not, I don't see what the point in picking you up was.
But look, obviously, Jim, if he can't get in the game in a playoff situation, a final situation, a desperation situation where he can go out and goon it up and get 6 hard fouls on somebody, then all that means is Ty Lue, LeBron James, none of them believe that he's that guy in the first place. I've never
Why bring him in, though? What did they bring him in for?
He was one of those scrub dudes who got with a great team, and he took on their personality as his own. He was on a good Celtics team. We've seen this plenty of times. Yeah,
Jimmy Dad been dissing Kendrick Perkins for a decade.
Derek Fisher, I'm sure he used to run around the clubs like, I'm a starting point guard of the Lakers. Like, Derek ended up having a pretty good career, but
I mean, he asked Matt Barnes about it. Derek Fisher.
He ended up getting his ass whooped by a dude with a conch.
But no, Kendrick Perkins, he was around KG, whose bark was way bigger than his bite himself, even though he's one of my favorite players of all time. Like, he took that and absorbed that, and he's just running around like he's a tough guy. But it's easy to be tough when you're never going to get in the damn game to be tough. You're tough on the sideline talking trash. Like, when the last time Kendrick Perkins got minutes with anybody?
Yo, why is he on the roster? And this is further, to me, this is further proof why dudes climb up the Mount Rushmore is not as high as we may give him credit, man. LeBron, why did you put dude on your roster, man?
Yeah,
it's your fault.
How did B find a way to slander LeBron? Because
why did he put Bo on it? Because why Kendrick Perkins on the roster? He's on the roster getting a paycheck. And a veteran minimum at that, because they're paying Kendrick Perkins $1.2 million prorated for this behavior.
But they might have fallen for that themselves, B. They probably like, all right, we got us a goon. And then they realize in practice,
Kendrick Perkins can't fight.
Like, he kind of soft. But that's probably how they had to have. Like, your man Osman probably beat him up in practice, and they probably changed their mind about it.
Yo, on the low.
Jimmy's man Osman probably beat him up in practice. They like,
I don't understand what the point was. Like, they picked him up in like April, I think, and he was in the G League gooning it up down there. So if you're not going to let him goon it up, what's the point? What was the point? Like, what was the exercise for? Like, what were you doing?
Because he can't play basketball. He's just tall. Like, he's been trash since day one.
Yo. Your man David West went down to the end of the bench. I don't know if y'all peeped this. David West went down to the end of the bench and pulled Bull to the side and said something to him. I don't know if David West is planning on removing him from the mix at some point or what. He don't want no problem.
Him. Now, this is a bigger thing because I heard some talking heads arguing over whether or not they think players should even be on the bench in suits, in street clothes. Like, people weren't saying, like, totally remove him from the situation, but some people were like, second row maybe, locker room maybe. Like, do y'all think people should be on the bench when they're not playing?
Yeah, these probably the same people that was complaining about Kyrie not being there.
That is something, because some people be like, you can't even be on the bench with your teammates. And then people are like,
and now those same people are like, you shouldn't be on the bench.
Yo, this will all be solved, and this conversation wouldn't have to happen if Kendrick Perkins wasn't sitting on the bench. If it wasn't Kendrick Perkins,
I don't think it's a player thing. You're right. Players, I think it's fine for players to be on the bench. I think Kendrick Perkins should be on the bench, like, period, because he shouldn't be on an NBA roster. So that's a whole different.
Yeah, and he had a tight brown suit on that looked like he painted poop on his suit.
If you know, you know.
Shout out to the homie Vod from Tissue and the Tape in the War Room Sports Game Time group. He said, because we called him Scrub. Well, Jimmy, you posted that story in there. He said that's disrespectful to scrubs everywhere. Perk is a bouncer. Yeah, ain't no bouncer. Bouncers usually can fight.
Yo, I think Deb been trying to set up the role on Kendrick for a minute. I think it could happen.
He wanted. Well, what did he say? He don't want these problems this way. Whatever he said. All right, everybody. So that's what happened this week. While y'all were on the grind. Yes, Kendrick Perkins got a job. While y'all were on the grind.
Kendrick, your mouth too small to box with the God.
Yo, man.
Just run. Fly through these birthdays so we can talk NBA.
Hey, let me get some birthday shout-outs real quick, man. Let me get some birthday shout-outs, yo. First of all, let's shout out Anna Kournikova, who turned 7. Gotta give Anna Kournikova a shout-out.
Yes, sir. And not for her tennis skills.
Anna can get some Kournikova.
Yo, David Diaz turns 42. David Diaz is turning 42.
Big day.
All right, now, the God C, Allen Iverson. You know what I'm saying? Jules.
It's a holiday.
43. Salute the Bubba Chuck.
Hey, what I'm talking about.
We talking about practice, not.
He never gonna live that down.
Remember this guy, y'all? Napoleon Kaufman. Napoleon turns 45.
He was good for like 3/4 of the season.
Yo.
3/4 of the season.
Terrell Buckley. Another name for the past. Terrell Buckley turns 47.
Terrell Buckley, you got to know when to hold.
I would say underrated corner in the mix of things just because you don't hear his name anymore. You should still hear his name.
Gambling man.
Yeah.
The original.
Terrence Mathis turns 51. Salute to Terrence Mathis. And a rest in peace shout out to one in Munson, who passed away in 79. Also, rest in peace to Bert Sugar. The legend Bert Sugar. Rest in power to that to the God. He just always looked like his life was amazingly fun. Like he was a gambler and a drunk, and he was fast.
Got to hang around Mike Tyson.
Yo, he just looked like
to hang around
fast women and slow horses.
Interviews with Mike Tyson and all his chicks.
Salute to Bert Sugar, man. Those are the birthday shout-outs. We'd like to give a big warm salute to all these folks on their birthday or their birthday week.
Salute.
My birthday, yay!
All right, and real quick, for Jim talks about this NBA Finals stuff, man, y'all can check out our website, www.warroomsports.com. If you want to call in and speak with us about the NBA Finals, now's the time to do it. Dial the Digital Extreme Tech hotline, 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. But if you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to holler. I know people like, yo, I've been waiting on the line all this time. I saw a couple people hang up. Well, y'all keep giving out the number, but ain't nobody answering the phone. Our bad. If you're still listening, call back in. I'm sorry.
Our bad.
We get carried away sometimes.
Yo, but Yeah, pretty much. It's time to talk about some NBA rap, man. And this is brought to you by Digital Extreme Technologies. Do you or your business need a custom website? Here's what you need. Dynamic, professional, and affordable custom website solutions. You need Extreme Technologies. No need to break the bank for an effective online presence. You can get top quality, results-driven websites at incredibly affordable prices. And if you don't have it all, you can put something on it. You know what I'm saying? You can do that by calling 267-205-4203 or visit their website, digitalextremetech.com, and make sure you say that you got the number or website from War Room Sports.
War Room Sports.
You already know.
Yeah.
Time to talk about some hoops.
I had to ad-lib for Jimmy while he was reading it.
You know. It's time to talk about some hoops, gentlemen.
Yeah. What are we playing? Yo, I think that's one of the illest ad-libs ever. After you say something crazy ill. Yeah.
That is fine.
Boy, just in verses like, push. All right,
Yo, we got to talk about the NBA Finals. It's the only basketball game going on. Warriors versus Cavs. Everybody knows where we stand now after last night. What is it? 3-0 at this point.
3-0.
3-0. Like last time we talked to everybody, the series was just starting, wasn't it?
It was just starting, man. LeBron is having a great series.
What a difference.
LeBron is winning.
If you know, you know. All right.
Yeah,
well,
pretty much.
I know we got to talk about the Game 1 situation with JR and the homie George Hill. Taking y'all back to the situation. Remember, George Hill goes to the line with a chance to put them up 1. They're down 1. He makes the first one, ties the game, misses the second one with like 4.6 seconds left. But J.R. Smith gets the rebound over Kevin Durant, who back early in this series, even though he's getting his numbers, was playing a little bit like a bitch. J.R. rebounded it over him, but obviously didn't know what the clock situation was and the score situation was, because he dribbled it all the way back to the three-point line, past the three-point. I don't know. He was trying to dribble to the locker room to run out the time, and the game ended up going into overtime. Cleveland never recovered. LeBron only got 2 of his 51 points in overtime, and they lost by double digits after playing a very tough Game 1. JR took it on the chin for the rest of, I'd say the next 2 or 3 days until the next game started. JR took it on the chin. Because of JR taking it on the chin, George Hill kind of slid under the radar. What did y'all think about that entire situation as it was going on and everything that happened afterwards?
I think that if that was anybody else other than J.R. Smith, it wouldn't have been a sin. The fact is, it was J.R. Smith. Right, so
could you expect things like that from him at this point?
Yeah, he has that reputation of
you do expect that, but I think this is the first time that I noticed in JR's career where he's kind of like the class clown, where a lot of that stuff rolls off of his back, and you could visibly see that he was almost in anguish. Like, he was really hurt by it.
Why?
And it was bad because it wasn't really as costly as George Hill's mistake, which I believe is why you pointed to George Hill and him. JR's got the most press, but George Hill's was the most damaging. But why?
I was going to say he was that damaged because you don't make those kind of mistakes when you're on the LeBron legacy schedule. You just don't. Especially after LeBron did all the heavy lifting, scored 49 points in regulation. Y'all had a chance to beat a team that, not a lot of people thought y'all were going to get that many games in this series. You had a chance to immediately change the complexity, the complexion of the series, and the gaffe by both of those players kind of ruined that. Now, as everything happened afterwards and it snowballed into this giant thing, I started to think that both of the mistakes are being a little bit overblown. For a lot of people, it was another way to kind of, defend LeBron. He did ball his life away. But at the same time, I know you guys saw the footage, the raw footage of what happened on the bench the whole time between regulation and the start of overtime. And I don't think that was handled correctly by anybody. LeBron as the team captain, Ty Lue as the coach of the team. For a lot of that, they were just sitting over there, not saying anything to each other. J.R. Smith looking scared to death to look up because LeBron was over there heated, on fire. Then Ty Lue comes in, and he doesn't even address it. He obviously gets asked by LeBron if they had timeouts, but then he just goes into whatever he's saying about what's happening in overtime. You got to address that kind of thing because at this point, these guys are scared to death to make another mistake because LeBron's not even speaking to this dude at this point. I kind of think as the team captain, I don't want to be overly critical of LeBron because these dudes are in the NBA. At some point you got to be able to do things on your own. But we do exalt people for being quote unquote great leaders. And we really don't even see that. We see the stuff that they want us to see. Now, when these guys didn't know the camera was on them, you saw another side that didn't look too great as a leader. At some point, LeBron could even tell this dude, like, yo, that was boneheaded, blah, blah, blah. But at some point, all right, y'all, come on, snap out of it. It's over. Let's go out here in this overtime and let's finish these dudes off. There was none of that. And they went out there and the team played as if there was none of that. And they didn't even have a chance. It's like they all just quit.
The crazy part about that era, and I've seen a lot of errors in big situations and big games and Super Bowls and finals, but it just felt like that was so much bigger than that one game. And it felt like the series. I felt like that was the whole series right there.
Because a lot of people felt that was their only shot to make it a series.
Because I think that if you win the game, you put a little bit of pressure on Golden State, who's shown in the past they don't like pressure. Not that they can't handle it, they don't like it.
Right.
So I found that to be very interesting, man. And that footage that leaked about, like, you know, after it happened on the bench, that didn't look good for nobody, like you already mentioned. Like, specifically, Brown looked bad, but I think that made Ty Lue look very weak. Like, very
he has no control
as a leader.
over
Like,
the situation.
like, dog, like, you, what are you doing? Like, you know,
because even if your star was kind of in pout mode all the time, like, there was time to do all of this. Instead of, you know, waiting for so long, I don't know why Ty Lue took so long. Maybe he was out talking to the officials or something. I don't know why it took him so long to come over there. It kind of seems like coaches these days think you're not allowed to engage your team until they come out of TV timeout or something. But there was a lot of, like, idle time over there. I'm thinking if Tyronn Lue sees the situation, he sees what's going on, maybe you go to LeBron first. You get in his ear by himself. Like, all right, I know. You know what I mean? I know. That's all you got to say to him. I know. You don't have to be eloquent. Like, I know, dog. I know. But look, I need you right now. Get these dudes back in the right mind state. Because if you're not in it, they're not going to be in it. Like, JR's scared to death over here. He don't even want to look at you. You got to say something. Like, and then you start addressing the team. And then you hope LeBron, you know, does his LeBron thing. But LeBron didn't even want to put his hand into the huddle when they were trying to. I'm like, at that point, you know it's over. Like, had we seen this before the overtime started, had we been privy to that bench, we all would have known. I mean, a lot of us thought that anyway, like, oh, y'all let this team back in it. Y'all going to overtime. Pretty much the better team, usually, the cream rises to the top in overtime when you give them extra time. But, you know, had we been privy to that huddle, we'd have been like, oh, they don't even stand a chance. Like, they mess around not even scoring in overtime. And they barely did. Like, LeBron, who was balling all night, had 2 points in the overtime. And his body, he just looked like he was out of it. Like, those mistakes just stopped everybody in their tracks. But that's how it goes. And now they find themselves down 3-0. And that could have been their best chance to make it a series. Like Jimmy said, put some pressure on the Warriors. Oh, Jesus Lord. Yeah. Scott View. I hope this is a joke. He said, breaking news, Mike Brown is interviewing for the Sixers GM job. Oh, my God. Because y'all know, we've already given him his props as the greatest interviewer in the history of interviews.
My man got a mean PowerPoint and Excel game.
Yo, he got the job.
I hope Scott, you messing with us, man. I hope he messing with us, man. All right.
Yo.
So,
you know.
Do y'all think that had any effects on them going into game 2?
Yeah, I definitely think there was a hangover. I think that right now the three of us feel the same way as LeBron and JR did hearing the news that Mike Brown is interviewing. Like that puts us in a very bad place in space. But yeah, there was a hangover. And with them, you know, from a talent standpoint, they absolutely have to play at their very peak to match the talent on the other side. So whenever something goes wrong like that and there is a hangover, they're done, man. They're literally done. I don't see them winning a game in this series at all.
I say that I find it hard to believe that they'll get swept. So I'm thinking, you know, maybe they get a game 4 win just to salvage the embarrassment of a sweep, but really all they would be doing is prolonging the inevitable, which, you know, in the end, it's not a moral victory, but nobody wants to get swept. You know what I'm saying? And where LeBron's legacy is right here, he definitely doesn't need because a lot of people didn't give him a chance to win this series anyway. Like, only the most delusional LeBron fan would even pick the Cavs to win this series. But it would be a little bit of a hit to his legacy, or not, because a lot of people Jimmy always tells us about how people just
LeBron is
stuff
winning
later on. But to get swept in year 15, especially in a year where everybody was praising you at how great you were playing at this time of your career, where we don't see a lot of people playing to this level in their 15th season in the league. I think it would be a small dent, to get swept at this point. Like, we know Golden State is great. At this point, they're going to go down in the annals of NBA history as one of the great teams, but you're still the greatest player of this era. Like, you got to do something to will them to at least one victory. Don't get swept. And I don't think he will. But, the memes have already been queued up. I already sent y'all a few today. Like, people already – they got memes of the Warriors broom shopping and all that kind of stuff. If you ask me if we're picking, I got Cleveland in a Game 4 win.
I think it would be super damaging to the legacy, and something was pointed out. There are things that there are points in the game, and this is nitpicky. I will fully admit there are just points in the game, usually late, where you need to impose your will via scoring, likely in that elbow extended area, in that mid-range area, that I feel like LeBron is just uncomfortable with. Like, he can get those buckets normally, but he's not proficient enough to where when he's under pressure, comparing him to KD can go to 15 to 18 feet and just make that shot like it's a layup. And I feel like when there's no pressure, LeBron can, but when the pressure's on, he gets to that area and it's like a no man's land for him, and he's going to pass. He'd rather pull up. Like, I think that plays in big at the end of games where he could turn into that Superman for a minute or two and just get those buckets, and he can't do it. He can't do it. One,
I think since Game 2, I think the Warriors' defense has definitely changed. Even when LeBron gets to the basket, he's swarmed way more than he was in Game 1, and he finds himself missing layups when, and in fact, he's probably, if not one of the greatest finishers that, in our time at least. I can't speak on before. I'm pretty sure for Wilt it was way more easier to finish. But he's one of the best finishers we've ever seen. That's one. Like, they were making him miss a lot of layups and a lot of short shots in Game 2 and 3. But what he took a lot of criticism for, especially in Game 3, was when they got the matchup they wanted, because NBA players seem to not know that there was ever a time that you can actually fight through a screen, because they switch everything with minimal effort in the NBA these days, and it's glaring in this series on both sides, both teams. But they get the switch that they want. Every time the Warriors come down, they want to switch. They want to get Kevin Love matched up against Steph Curry. And on the other side, on Cleveland's side, they want to get Steph Curry matched up on LeBron James. And they've been successful in doing it. Then he gets to turn his back and back him down. But instead of continuing that, he always kind of looks to pass out when, I'm not going to be like those other people who are just ignoring the fact that Warriors are cheating off to help. But, there could be a little bit more aggression when he has Steph Curry down there and he keeps passing. Then at the end of the game, LeBron wouldn't fight through screens when they needed him to guard Kevin Durant. He would just, get a little weak screen. He would switch off on somebody else, and KD would just go to work on whoever else was there to the tune of 43 points. Now, that's one thing. I think defense on both sides. It's like, if you don't want them to force you into matchups, then what happened to the days of running around fighting through a screen. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Have y'all noticed that?
I mean, that's an interesting observation, man. It's a lot of defense, but I think this is something that I've seen throughout the playoffs. With the exception of, say, like the Celtics. The Celtics seem to be one of those teams that do fight through screens and aren't playing lazy defense. And that's the thing I'm talking about. Even with the Warriors, they seem to play lazy defense because they can. There's a lot of mistakes on both sides in terms of the chess moves that are being made for an NBA Finals series.
Right.
But to me, like, and I know it sounds crazy, at the game, it's a wrap. Like, to me, that's why I felt like, and I think I'm not the only one that felt that way. I felt like the country felt that, like, that was it.
Game one.
I was hoping they pulled that win out. Not that I'm rooting for either team, because I don't care
make
who
it
wins,
interesting.
but absolutely.
To give us
I like
more
to
than
see,
4 games.
Teams, I like to see teams with that pressure on them, see how they respond to that pressure. See if game 2, if you don't get a little fight, because you know you have to at that point. But they got this next game. Game 3 was interesting. Now, we're hearing the whole LeBron has no help narrative that's being put out there. And I think what's unfortunate for the Cavaliers is that they happen to be playing this Golden State team. Because I don't think they're a bad team, but when juxtaposed into who they're playing in the finals, it kind of like, puts gas on it. So now it looks like you guys are really terrible. Well, not that terrible, but compared to that team you're playing in the finals, it's like,
Dude, it was the same thing
and that's
for
what
the
people
superstars that lived in the era of the Chicago Bulls. Like, now, like, people talk, like, when they do this whole LeBron and Jordan thing, and you got the other side who, like, because there's been people, shout out to the homie Court Bennett, who's spammed our page all week. He put up at least 20 anti-Jordan posts. It's like a lot of people now want to, like, drag down the teams that the Bulls played in the finals and say that they weren't that good, just to make a point, to make Jordan seem a little bit weaker. And it's the same thing. A lot of people didn't get rings in that era because the Chicago Bulls were dominant. I think there were at least 3 teams who had great shots at winning a title in the 90s if they didn't go up against that Chicago Bulls dynasty. And it's going to be the same thing. Well, I can't even say the same thing for teams with this team because they keep playing the same damn team. But I guess you could throw Houston in the mix too, because if Houston wins that Game 7, then most likely they get an NBA title. So it's like now the dream shatterers are the Golden State Warriors when it used to be the Chicago Bulls. And, notice I'm giving the team props. I'm not just saying Mike. It used to be the Bulls in the 90s, and now Golden State is wrecking shop. And teams and players that should get rings, something happens. Not until they're done.
This is true, man. So it's interesting, man. By the time we reconvene next week, I'm pretty sure this is over.
But we be on to something else because the finals is over.
But then this is when the arms race starts. This is when the arms race starts, and we get to see like how LeBron responds to that, because some people are like, well, say that KD did it, and now it's Bron's turn. Like we'll see, because what the NBA found a way to do is somehow make the off season just as interesting as the regular season by having an arms race.
We'll get to see the NBA awards, and we'll see if they switch it up on them and take the playoffs into consideration and give Bron the MVP. Even though I would have voted him MVP in the regular season, but they act like Harden all but had it in the bag. I would have voted for LeBron this season, personally.
Me too. Great. Yo, anyway, man, let's get out of here, man. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for joining us for another briefing in the War Room. Everybody in the chat room, Facebook, Twitter, those in group apps, salute to all you guys. All the calls we called, couldn't get in. We apologize for what I did. Shout out to you. Special thanks to everyone who calls in all the time. Fred Perdue always calls. And special thanks to all of our fans, man. Tune in next week, live right here on demand. We catch you up. Everything happening around the world of sports that includes coverage of the NBA Finals, which will probably be over by then. Not probably, they will be over by then. So until then, we can enjoy your week, and we'll see you right back here next time. All of our conversations This is on Facebook, Twitter. You can read our blogs, webcasts, network podcasts, all that you can find at the Hub, which is warroomsports.com. Also, get Sports the Book at sportsthebook.com or back at the Hub, warroomsports.com. So until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance, and we'll see you soon.
Final week.
6 to 8. Yeah. War Room Sports. Y'all ready? Let's go. Stay in tune to Jimmy. Know the blueprint. Yo. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Yeah. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop scholars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, PJ, Stop Back, B. Austin. I'm Jock. Up here coming on the beat.
War Room Sports. www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.